Hello everyone, welcome back to Cooking with Donna. Today I'm going to be making up some flan with y'all. It's a custard dessert that's very popular and I wanted to share it with y'all. So let's go ahead and get started. In my pan here, I'm putting in 1 cup of sugar and 1/4 cup of water. And using a wooden spoon or whatever you have. I wouldn't do metal because this stuff gets really hot. So if you got any little ones around, please keep them back away and be careful yourself because this stuff gets really hot. Now what I'm doing here is just stirring it up. The heat's not on and it's very important. A lot of people get intimidated by making this because this stuff here, you can overcook it very easily and it will get a very bitter taste to it. But some people like that deep flavor of the caramel. This is what this is, our caramel that's going to be going on. But I'm going to turn my heat on, bring it up to a boil. Then I'm going to turn it down to a medium low. And we're not going to stir this as it's cooking. We're just going to move our pan around like so. And you'll pick it up off the heat and just kind of swirl it. Because if you just keep leaving it on the heat, it's going to start browning very quickly and scorching. And we don't want that. And it's best to use a non-stick pan. So this is going to do its thing here. And we'll bring it to a gentle boil or a boil. Then we'll simmer it down to a medium low. Okay, I got that to a boil and simmered it to medium low. And this is what's going to happen here. But this is going to start caramelizing. And once you see that getting a pretty amber honey looking color, just swirl it. Don't use your spoon. We don't want a whole lot of you don't want no crystallization going on here. Now you can also cover this. But I make this so much, I don't do that. But if you're worrying about crystallization, you can cover this with a pan. And each time but you'll have to take it off, put it back on, and the condensation will keep the sugar down, but I don't do that. And just swirl it around. You do not want this burning. Now I'm going to turn this down a little bit more and just keep an eye on it. Once you start seeing that that's getting that pretty amber color, honey color, turn it off because it will carry over cook. And just it's about finding that in between, because if you cook it too long, it will carry over cook and it's going to become burnt if you do it too much, if you go too far with it. So just patience, you'll learn. If you can't get it right, start over. But it's intimidating with a lot of people, but it's actually really simple once you get it down. So let's just try not to overcook it. All right. Okay, you can see here, it's getting that honey color to it. Now, if I took this off now, it's still going to get more dark in color because this stuff is scalding hot. But we're almost there. Now, like I said, it's going to carry over cook, so don't go too far with this, okay? And keep swirling your pan here. Don't stir. All right. Okay, this is where we want to be. See there? And this is going to continue to get dark. Now be careful. This is hot. You're going to get you a 9-inch pan and just pour that in there. Let it drip out. Let me get this hot pan out of the way. Okay, now this is going to continue to cook. Now you want to swirl this. Be careful. Please hold something in your hand. A pot holder, a rag, something. Because this metal pan that it's poured in, it's going to get really hot. Now we're going to set this out of the way, and this is going to harden up for us. But it'll soften once we pour our custard and bake it. Alrighty, we got the caramel part set over here. It's already cooled. And it'll get that hard, cracky feel to it, like hard candy. So let's go ahead and get our custard part ready here. Now here I have an 8-ounce block of cream cheese. This is the secret of keeping it nice and silky and creamy. I just love it with cream cheese in it. Now you can make it with, you know, the traditional all egg. Sometimes it's good to switch it up some. So what we're going to do here is beat this cream cheese up. Okay. Now what we're going to do here, now your cream cheese is very, very, very important to make sure you have it at room temperature. And if you forget, you could pop it in the microwave for a minute or so. You want that cream cheese nice and soft because we don't want no lumps in our flan. But this is going to help out tremendously with the creaminess of the flan. Okay, so we're just going to beat this up a little bit. It's nice and soft. See there? Nice and soft. So we'll beat this up a little bit. Get all those lumps out of there. Scraping down your bowl. Nice and creamy. Turn this down or turn it off. Now, the only thing about this, guys, is it's very important to let this is going to, the only downfall with this dessert, please make it the night before or at least 8 to 10 hours in advance because it's very important with flan. You have to let it chill and set up. Okay. Now here I have 5 room temperature eggs, another important step. You have 5 of them. Okay. We'll do 1 egg at a time, just helps get it incorporated. A lot of people will put this in the blender. I don't like doing that because you want less air bubbles. So once that milk's in, we'll stir it in and try not to get so many air bubbles in there. But you can do it in the blender if you want. 1 egg. Now the smart thing to do would be have the eggs cracked already, right? In another bowl, that way we don't get a shell or a bad egg in there and waste the whole thing. But I'll continue doing 1 at a time, 5 room temperature eggs. Okay, I just added the last egg. Now I'm going to go in with 1 tablespoon of vanilla. Get everything down. Get all that egg mixed in there. All right. Okay. Now here I have 1 14-ounce can of condensed sweet milk. Now I do recommend this brand if you can find it, if not, but this is some really good stuff. We love it. But this is 1 14-ounce can of condensed sweet milk. Now this is what's going to sweeten your flan. Let's get all of that out of there. And I have here 1 12-ounce can of evaporated milk. Okay, all that goes in. And just a pinch of salt. Just a pinch of salt. And we're just going to stir this around. And I'll get this mixed up. Now, like I said, I don't want to put a whole lot of air in here. Just until everything's mixed up. No whisk, just stir it in. Everything stirred in. Okay. Okay, now what you want to do, just to be sure, we're going to strain this through a sieve here. That way we know all that egg is beaten up in there. And the lumps from the cream cheese. Because we want this, see there? We want this as smooth as possible. Now, for me, you could do it once, you could do it twice, just in case. So I prefer to do it twice. There. Come back over here and do it one more time. And I'm going to tell you, this is one of the most simplest desserts to make. It may seem like, oh, it's a whole lot to do, but I'm just being very informative, I guess you would say, because I'd really like y'all to try this, and don't think for a minute you can't do it, because you can. And it's so simple, and it's one of the most delicious desserts that we enjoy. All right. Now we're going to take this out. So see, that would have been left behind. All right. All right. Now we're going to get ready. Now this is, see how that's darkened? Because it carried over. Hear that? That's what you want. It's going to be hard, but that's all going to melt down again. I think that I got that there in the center so y'all can see. Okay. Now we have our custard. And we're going to pour that right over top. You hear that cracking? That's okay. And this is a 9-inch pan I'm using. 9-inch round. And do get your oven preheated to 350. Now this is going to have to set in a water bath, so let's get that ready. Alrighty, now you want to put your custard in a larger pan so that water around it can help steam that custard. Now when you put your foil on, kind of stretch that foil, tuck it up underneath there, stretch it. That way it doesn't stick to your custard. Just stretch that foil out. And even if it does stick to your foil, no big deal. It's because it's going to be flipped upside down anyway with that delicious caramel. Now you're going to put some hot water in here, give it a head start, and you're going to come halfway up the pan. Halfway up your pan you're cooking it in, not the whole pan. So let's get some hot water. I forgot to get some boiling, but my water from my faucet gets pretty hot. So I'm just going to fill that up halfway. You hear that caramel cracking? Little bit more. I can see here it's not quite halfway up the pan yet. And there we go. Now this is going into the oven at 350. This usually takes like an hour and 25 minutes to cook. Insert your toothpick in it, comes out clean, it's done. Now it's very important, do not overcook your custard, because if you overcook it, you're going to taste nothing but egg. So when this comes out, it's supposed to be jiggly, not real wobbly, but it's going to be jiggly. It should have a little jiggle to it. So we'll get this in. I'll check it because ovens vary. Yours may take an hour and 15 minutes. It may take an hour and 20 minutes. So we'll check it at maybe an hour and 20 minutes or so. And in the oven it goes. Okay, my friends, it's all done. Now I want you to see, mine took an hour and 15 minutes. Now our ovens vary, so yours could take an hour and 20 minutes. It's usually 5 minutes off, ovens. But just keep an eye on it. Now, this is what you want. You see here how it's jiggling? I mean, this pan is hot. Just came out. But you can see it's jiggling. See that there? But in the center, as you can see, it comes out clean. So that's what you want. You definitely do not want to overbake it, and you don't want to overbake it. So, like I said, I'm sorry, I said overbake it twice, didn't I? You don't want to overbake it or underbake it. So, like I said, mine took 1 hour and 15 minutes. But you do want some jiggle to it. You're not going to cook this until it's completely firm. That jiggle has to be there. But not where it's just wobbling all over the place. But you got the idea, I hope. Now, this is going to come to room temperature. I'm going to let this come to room temperature, probably a good hour, depending how cool your house is. Just as long as it's cool to the touch on the bottom and around it, not real hot. And then we're going to cover this with some foil, and this is going to stay in the refrigerator. I like mine a good 10 hours. So that's where we're at now. We'll be back later on when it's cooled down and ready to cut. Okay, this has been chilling, I think, like 9 hours? 9 hours or so. So now what we're going to do is just gently go around this with a thin knife, just to get it off the sides here. Loosen it all up. And then we'll flip it upside down. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is just take my... Now get something with a little rim on it, because you don't want your caramel syrup running off of a flat plate. So if you're using just a regular plate, make sure it has that little lip on it. All right, here we go. We're going to flip it over. Okay. Just give it a few taps. Normally just comes right out. Now if you want to, because it's so cold that sugar kind of hardens up a little bit, sometimes I like to set it in a little bit of hot water for maybe 5 minutes. That way we want all that syrup to come out. Okay? All right, here we go. See there how that's kind of hardened in there? You could set that right on the stove if you wanted to get the rest of it out. But as you can see, look at there. Ain't that pretty? We got all that beautiful caramel there. And this is delicious, guys. How's that look? Now, we're going to cut it. Can't wait to have a slice of this. Now, what we're going to do here is each time I slice it, I like to wipe my knife. That way you get a pretty clean cut, okay? So let's go ahead and cut this. Nice and soft. Silky smooth. Curtis, are you going to taste this for us?
Of course.
Let's get a slice off here for Mr. Curtis. Okay. I'm just going to go down it again to make sure it came loose there. Okay. We'll get this slice out of here. Look at there. Look at there. And we'll get it on our plate here. And I'm going to get a little bit of syrup, more syrup on there for you, Curtis.
Okay.
Let me put this sideways here. We eat this a lot, guys, so, but those who want to learn to make it, such a delicious, easy dessert. It really is. Okay, Curtis, go ahead and slice that so they can see how nice and smooth that is.
Wow.
Look at there.
Let me try this. Wow. That is so good.
That good. It's delicious, guys.
I'm going to need the rest of that.
Oh, yeah. Eat it up. But I hope you guys enjoy and try it out. Let me know what you think if you've never had it or if you want to make you up some. It's a delicious dessert, and please like and subscribe as always. It helps my channel out, guys. And until next time, make you up some flan, and we will see you guys later. Make you up some. Bye-bye.